This is Capital on Stage, the Amsterdam edition. It's time to meet the investors. Please give a warm applause for Marja Verbon, Piton Capital.
Hi. Great. Sorry, I didn't have a mic, so I was a little late to get up. So it's great to be here today. As I got a very elaborate introduction, I'm an investor with Piton Capital in London, and it's always great to be back in Amsterdam because that's originally where I'm from. And every time I come back, I see more and more entrepreneurs, more and more people, both Dutch but also international, coming to the city, starting their own thing. And it's really good to see that because I see a lot of smart people and a lot of opportunities also for investment. Piton Capital is a very specific investment firm. So we invest in one specific business model, which is startups with network effects. So we invest in businesses like marketplaces, booking platforms, sometimes data projects that get better with the more people using them. Now, the classic example of a network effect is the telephone. So if I have a telephone, it's great. I can stand there in the corner, but it doesn't really do much for me. Now, if one of you guys gets a telephone, I can call you, right? Great, we can call each other. Now you get a telephone, we can all call each other. And once everyone has a telephone, it's a very hard network to break. So the same thing happens with marketplaces. When you match supply and demand, or where you match parties trading, once you get enough liquidity in that marketplace, it becomes a highly defensible play. So that core concept is what we look for in investments, and is what we hopefully will bring value to a business, defensibility in the longer term. We do that kind of investment across industry, across stage, and across region. So we've gone as close to home as Holland, the UK, we've gone as far as Pakistan, Egypt recently, and we've gone as small a ticket as 200K and as big a ticket as 15 million. So very, very broad range and scope. One of the things that I'm particularly interested in at Piton is labor marketplaces, so I look a lot at those, but frankly we look across any of them, so we do real estate as well, we do consumer goods, we do financial, we do everything. When you spend a lot of time looking at these marketplaces and spend a lot of time with entrepreneurs building them, there's some very interesting things that you learn. So I'd like to just share with you some of the things that I've seen entrepreneurs do really well and that help them build their businesses. So one very obvious and much repeated one, and I'm going to say it again, is focus. Focus and narrow segmentation. So when I see an entrepreneur coming in and they tell me about their segment, if they very narrowly defined it, it will help them to build a great business because they fully understand their consumer, they fully understand their customer, and they can build a product that really suits them. And that's especially true when you have a marketplace and you're trying to match two sides of things. So when I'm trying to match everyone and everything, it's going to be very difficult. But when I take a very narrow segment, it's actually very easy to match those two sides to each other. And when those things start scaling, the best entrepreneurs think about those segments when they expand. So they might start not with a city, but with a postcode, and they go postcode by postcode. They might start with a very narrow customer segment and go segment by segment and a segment by postcode. So they always think about that expansion in a very narrow and strategic way. And that's how they build liquidity across all those narrow markets and eventually can become dominant in a big market. So you don't have to pick the biggest market to start with, you just have to do the segmentation right. So that's the first and most strategic point. The second point, which they do very well, is to focus really on data. So one of the investments we did, these guys actually built their KPI dashboard before they built a product, because they understood that in order to build this marketplace and to make it successful, they had a few KPIs that they had to track and that they had to look at every day. Another company we invested in has that KPI dashboard projected on their screen in the business, in their room. So they always know what they have to focus on. And that helps you to drive rational decisions in your business. So when things get tough, and they will get tough, they know which metrics they have to focus on. They know what they have to improve those metrics. And of course, I mean, when you're pitching, your venture capitalist you're pitching to would love to see you tracking that data and really doing the analysis to show that it's a good business, because you're basically doing the job for the venture capitalist, so you make it very easy for them to make an investment decision. And then the final thing that I've seen, especially first-time entrepreneurs, some of them do very well, is that they're not afraid to admit that they don't know everything, right? You're new to the game, you might be doing many tens of different things at the same time. So they're not afraid to ask for help. So they call us up whenever they need something, when they need second opinions on people, when they need to know what's the best CRM system, anything. So use your investor. So pick them well, pitch to them well, and use them well. Thank you.